Yo, what's going on, guys? Blizzard released they released a whole new set of patch notes for the upcoming Tuesday for the reset. So let's take a little peek, see if there's anything good for us in here. I'm hoping we're not doing too well. Let's see, more Arian. If there's anything we know that you want more in this patch, we're adding more everything, more dungeon, classes, race. Okay, well, it's not even the 0.5 patch. We're adding quite a bit. So let's see what they got. More words and screen lists. You want more empty spaces, in which case we've cut the words and we're adding more empty spaces. I like empty spaces. More is our motto. New raid, the deeper cave below the bottom. After years going down in Azeroth, we're going to go below that. What's below the deepest depths? Only our friends, the digger miners, know for sure. So we're accompanying them as they go straight down to the bottom, like the Glorp song, and then go down from there. In the deeper caves below the bottom, there's no lights whatsoever. We should probably bring a hunter. Probably need flare for that. And the extreme temperature and pressure means that the enemies that live there are in a really bad mood. Defeat the lowest final boss, Ugh the Complainer, and look all around the floor of his chamber. Is that a door that leads downward? Oh. Could be a secret area, could be... I mean, we didn't really get a mythic phase on Galliwick, so we might get a mythic phase here, so it might be interesting. Let's see... Dungeon? Alright, might go in the Season 3 Mythic Plus pool. This 3-minute long dungeon starts with a minimum 90-minute queue to get into. I mean, it's kind of like playing solo shuffle, so... And there's no way to speed things up. All you need to do is talk to one boss, and they really could have done the whole encounter on the dungeon website. I mean, you never know, man. I've heard that this boss actually has a couple interesting pieces, a couple transmog pieces. Obviously, it's a seasonal event, so we're going to be getting a mount from this. We don't really know the model yet, but I think you get to ride in, like, I think it's like a miniature version of the Doomwalker, or something like that. So you're going to be queuing this a lot, unfortunately. But, hey man, 1% drop, we're always there for it. Another new dungeon. Okay, Mr. Sunflower's office. Oh, okay. If you don't remember, Mr. Sunflower was actually a Nerubian in Ashgahat that had a quest line involved him doing therapy. After that quest line, you could actually have him coming up top to the trading post and asking if they have any stickers that he can use for encouragement for his various clients. Let's see. Turns out you can okay, he's doing good work. You just have to do the work. Only healers are allowed in this Mythic Plus place, where the timer is set to 55 minutes, and we'll pick off where we left off next week. Oof. Ooh, that's going to be a tough one. I'm sure the clientele are going to be some hard nuts to crack, especially when you're doing healer DPS, so... Might be good, but we'll have to see. New dungeon. Old dungeon. Take your crew on an enhanced tour throughout the eras of dungeons you know all too well. This gorgeous dungeon will recall your wildest dreams with a delicate daylight right up until you realize how much bad blood you have with the anti-hero final boss. When you wipe, you're sent away for a fortnight because you need to calm down and shake it off. Remember that you can do it with a broken heart. What if broken heart is code? It could mean... I wonder if it means that we're going back to Shadowfang Keep, maybe farm the Heartbreaker. You never know. New system Swim. Okay, so it's... New additions to our cars. It'll allow you to drive around, like Booty Bay, get around faster in water areas. That way, when there's, like, islands, or if you're doing, like, island expeditions, you can get there faster, so... it's something nice to add. New war couples. What? Pick 2 characters and assign them to a lifelong commitment on that character selection screen with war couples. Ooh, Edators and Shambles. Gotta be, you have to make a new character every time. You're gonna get the cheater debuff, and ooh, imagine going into a group with that. Unlike war bands, war couples do not share much of anything, even though they've been together for a long time. They got a warband bank, but there ain't nothing in there. War couples keep separate accounts, and they get a big stat bonuses when they're in a party together. But they seem to always leave parties early, and you didn't even notice. Ah, okay. Yeah, it's kind of a problem with war couples that we saw in the PTR. because, as you know, E-daters are always together, but, however, the E-daters can't officially coexist unless there is a third wheel. So you have to play that third wheel spec. Maybe you need a DPS or tank or something like that. Realistically, if you're playing a third wheel spec, you're not going to play healer because the E-daters are generally a healer tank or a healer DPS kind of combination. So the third wheel spec that you're going to be playing isn't really going to be, if you're a more support-minded player, it's definitely not going to be there. I do, however, if you do have this third wheel spec, apparently you can get a 30% off month's subscription to Crunchyroll. So, hey man, being the third wheel ain't all that bad, right? So, it's got its downsides, but it's got its benefits too. Now, housing. They're adding some stuff early, getting ready for midnight, I guess. You now place cheese wheels on the outside of your house and on your head. Oh, baby, we're going to Green Bay. We received a good amount of feedback on this. I'm sure people still have more to say. You might have to go through there and kind of Swiss those comments up to really kind of see exactly what you want to do, you know? Otherwise, I mean, you kind of have to go to the forums for this, because if you don't go to the forums, you wouldn't be there for it. So if you're not there, then you're not really going to be able to provide accurate feedback. So I go into the forums for sure, and we can hopefully figure out a better implementation of this, or maybe just get it figured out the way we would like. Any room where the player places more than 5 breakable objects become a rage room. Go there and let it all out. Oh, that'll be great. You can put a bunch of target dummies there. That'll be good. Housing hard mode. Ooh. Acquire your house while also consuming 1 avocado toast per day and up to 5 lattes per week. That's going to be difficult, man. That's going to be difficult. In today's economy, 15 gold a day that you would need. 15 gold a day just for that 1 avocado toast and a latte. I mean, you could budget, you could separate those lattes out, but that avocado toast every morning is really going to set you back. You're probably going to need to do some boosting, maybe sell some mythic clears, some mythic 10s, something like that. But to be fair, it's all going to be worth it. You're going to be able to go into your house, you're going to be able to get something to eat and come back out and work on that IO score. So it is difficult, but it's worth it. Unless the new NPC Grand Pappy to sit on your front porch while you're away and yell, "Get off my lawn." Ooh, I think he goes very well with the Rivendreth sentry that you can put down that says to keep away. If you put them together, like you put one, like he's in his rocking chair on the front porch, but you get to put the sentry on the other side, there's just no way they can come into your front door, right? Obviously, this isn't great protection against, normal burglars or that kind of thing. However, vampires, it is a hard counter to vampires. They have to be invited inside your house. Because if they're not invited or directly have a way to get inside your house, like you left the door open or you did not greet them, then you're pretty much safe from them and safe from both sides. So, get off my lawn to any intruders who dare step on your freshly mown grass. Ooh, that is true. If you don't have this guy, I think you have to pay like $5 a month to get him. However, if you don't get him, then you're losing about, I think, every time you step out of your house, you get a fresh grass buff. That's about 4% mastery. It's a 60-minute buff, so you do have to come back and sit on the chair on your front porch to get it. However, $5 for 4% mastery, some say it's not worth it, some say it is, but realistically, all we really know is we're going to have to get some more WoW tokens. Let's see. For war couples as well. War couples may share housing but are required to have separate bedrooms. Best your money can buy. Yeah, I mean, if they get too close, you can't really let E-daters too close to each other. Especially on the first meeting. They got to be in separate rooms. They need a chaperone. It could be good, but I'm not so sure about this patch now. I don't really know about this. Having to get a whole separate room, it's kind of expensive. All the decorations. I mean, if it's a second entrance to your house, you might need another grandpappy just to protect the other side. It's another $5 a month, man. I don't know. This housing thing isn't working out the way I thought it would. The forest outside every neighborhood now has designated areas for you to set up your camera and record yourself walking or dancing or pretending to be a cryptid. You're going to be famous. I mean, that is good, but you got the house, right? You can just kind of stay in the house. You don't have to go outside. You don't have to bother other people. I mean, if there's a wooded area, you can walk around a corner. You could find the e-daters there. You don't want that. You know what I mean? You don't really go up to makeup point to film yourself 5 big booms, but I mean, you might be able to find a space. I think the e-daters are really going to take up all of that instance, though. So finding a fresh one's going to be kind of hard. Let's see. Added an option to view all Xalatath cinematics at 2 foot. I guess this allows you to view... I mean, we've always really wanted to know what a gnome is, right? Know what a short king is. We've never really known what perspective Tyler 1 really sees different video games from, so this would really allow us to get a better hold on that. So it might be a good accessibility setting. Remove the option to zoom out during Xalatath cutscenes. Fixed a bug where Xalatath's character model and her shoes were unintentionally visible. The artist who implemented the shoes has been transferred to a different department. I mean, it's unfortunate, it's tough, but it's fair. You gotta give the people what they want. Honestly, they really want their foot in the door on this. They tried to do something big and exciting and different, but it just really didn't work out. All Xalatath cinematics are rated an M for maybe not. We'll have to look at Rotten Tomatoes on that. Or you might have to check WikiFeet or Feet Finder to get a true rating. You can't really trust the, I don't know. I'm not trusting the YouTuber rating on this one. Now, we don't know too much about these classes, so let's just kind of talk about the classes we know. Let's see. We know Death Knight. New hero talent set, Big Stepper. Big Stepper, underground methods, top-notch hose at the bump. Maybe that's the reference, I don't know. You deal 15% more damage than everybody else. I mean, that's kind of true already, so they'd be like 30% more at this point. But all your movement incurs a 15% to movement speed. Is it worth it? I mean, they have this advance, they could be gripped around. It might be worth it. Put your foot down. I don't know about this. I mean, this might be unique to dwarves, you know. Obviously, you need to keep your feet on the ground, and this hero talent lets you do that. Causes massive damage and alarms anyone who's been looking at Xalatath videos lately. Ooh, that's a tough one. I think this will be okay in general, but if you're playing this hero spec while you're kind of walking around the neighborhood and looking through windows, I think you're sure to get some value. Let's search down. New hero talent, pet daycare operator. Your pets now have a chance to pretend to be asleep during combat, performing no actions and snoring out loudly. A couple of your pets will never sleep all day, and those will just stand by the door of the dungeon. Try not to think about that too much. I mean, do they have to go out and go pee, man? Listen, I'm not saying too much. Like, sometimes we like to talk about immersion, but if I have to manage my pet's pee meter more than I already do, I see that yellow bar filling up all the time. Now, if I have to mismanage that and release it in the dungeon, I mean, maybe I could debuff the boss with it, but it's going to be tough. To provide their care and well-being, pets require a mandatory 15-minute break every hour. Damn. Cast a new spell, want to go outside to make your pet zoom towards their leash like a maniac. Hey, there's actually real tech with this one. You can hit them with the want to go outside. However, you'll receive an unhappiness debuff if you're going to the vet if you hit them with this. So you can hit them with the want to go outside to get them to use that move speed to get to the vet. But the moment they're there, they're going to be debuffed for a bit. So be careful about that. Pet daycare operators receive an ungodly amount of gold on weekdays. Ooh. I mean, that'll be pretty good. I mean, we got some raiding to do on the weekend, so we can pamper them a little bit. Now let's go down here. Ooh, new warrior hero talents. We've been looking forward to this. You know, I've been kind of talking about, they don't really utilize, like when you think about Diablo or you think about things like Path of Exile, the shout play style, these war cries, they've never really been utilized that well. And what the game really needs right now, I mean, what the game really, really needs more than anything else is a melee support hero spec. And that's kind of what they're bringing to us with the Shoutmaster. So let's see, learn several vocally driven spells. Call of Dinner Time. Ooh, this is a good one. This is something you can use pre-pull. It allows everybody to get their food buff up. It remains permanent. It's kind of like a hearty feast, but it provides double the benefit. So Call of Dinner Time isn't useful as much in combat unless you're fighting a boss like maybe Muggsy. He might be getting hungry. You might be able to taunt him with that potentially. But realistically, that's going to be like some pre-pull tech. It's going to be something you use outside of combat to prep up for. And then Shriek of the Swifty. Ooh, I mean, we've been talking about warriors maybe doing some form of magic damage, or they've been talking about fire or earth, but Shriek of the Swifty is interesting because it is sonic damage. And what sonic damage is its nature and physical damage at the same time. And then whatever your enemies, I don't remember if it's lowest or highest or how they like to calculate it, but wherever your enemies, like I said, lowest or highest, whatever. Let's assume it's lowest. Whatever their lowest resistance is, either their lowest percentage of armor or their lowest nature resistance, it will make you do that type of damage instead. So you're always going to get good value out of Shriek of the Swifty. The only real problem of this spell is that if you use this, like, you can use them in dungeons and instanced areas, but if you end up using this in like an open area, or if you use it in Dornegal, there is a very, very high chance you're going to get a, I would say, mythic raid size, like 20 to 25 people of anyone kind of just within the general vicinity that are going to come up to you and ask you what your favorite song is. They're going to ask you if you went and saw the Eras tour. They're going to ask you what your favorite outfit was. So while you might become the talk of the town, realistically, I think the problem is going to be that if you keep this to dungeons and raids and kind of within your own group of friends, I think you're going to be good. But the moment you walk out into public with this spell, it's going to be a problem. So I'd be a little careful. But it should be a valuable asset to us in dungeons. Squawk, that didn't come out right. Oh, I mean, this one is interesting. I think what this is probably going to be is, you know how Augs have upheaval? What this is actually going to be is it puts a debuff on the enemy that the next time they cast their spell, it just won't go out. It'll fizzle. Like, imagine like you're watching Teen Titans and Raven hits you with the Azeroth Metreon Zinthos or whatever. You do that and then just nothing would happen, right? Mage goes fireball and then nothing. So I think this is going to be a very useful asset in like dungeons. It's not going to be too great in a raid. There's not many bosses or ads that you're really going to be looking to interrupt. It will have some value on Gallywix, the mythic ads that spawns ads that'll do a cast. It'll spawn these big ads that'll really hurt the closest target that you can kick once. But if you use this spell, it's kind of got a unique interaction where it fizzles it, and then you can it'll cast again, then you can kick that one. So it might have some value there, but we'll see. And what's the last one? Hello Below. I'm not really sure what this one's gonna be. It could be something like, it could give you a charge of heroic leap, and then when you leap into a location, it does a lot of damage. And depending on your current elevation before casting it, like let's say you're doing Motherload and you get knocked up by the thugs, you could pop this and then heroic leap back down onto them and do a ton of damage. They obviously know it's coming. You say hello and do the hit, but I think it's probably going to be worth the damage, even though they might move out of the way. Is there anything in here that's very interesting? Things that'll shake up the meta? See. So new mounts. Flying Brontosaur. I don't know about this one. I mean, the last one was pretty good. I don't really know if we need another one. You know what? The only thing that would make this thing good is in Final Fantasy, there is the tortoise mounts that when you go up on them, they just start spinning around. And I don't really know how. It's like rocket or some form of propulsion. I honestly don't know how it works. But they just start spinning around. If it's the same thing with the flying mount with this, where you're kind of turning your brontosaur into somewhat of a frisbee, and you're just... It might be worth it for the animation alone. We'll see what the... We'll see what the spell effects are on it. Maybe they could make them class themed. Could be pretty good. But realistically, I don't really think I need a barber on the go, so I probably won't be farming this. The rubber chicken, however, every time you walk, whoop, squeak, 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 squeak. I think that'll be great. Imagine, right? You walk into a raid, everybody's farmed up their rubber chicken, right? They get in the raid, squeak, 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 squeak. Could be good. It could be good, man. I think it'll be some fun times. Bug fixes, but who cares about bug fixes, right? Well, that's the patch coming out here on Tuesday. Obviously, some things are good. Some things, I don't really know how Mr. Sunflower's office is going to be, you know. It could be, it says it's for healers only, but, you know, I can change over to Spec. I can bring some bandages in. But realistically, I don't think it's going to be that great of a dungeon. Obviously, as a man, I don't need therapy from anything or from anyone. If I was going to get any kind of therapy, it would obviously be the therapy for the people around me. Because they're the ones that really need it. I don't really need it. I'm just kind of there supporting them, you know. So, it might be good, it might be bad. We'll have to see. It's not too, like, crazy. Obviously, it's not red and skull themed and spiky, so you kind of don't care, but who knows, maybe maybe the E-daters might find like a flower hat in there they enjoy and they might farm out that kind of transmog. So otherwise, seems like a pretty decent patch. I'm looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's going to be pretty good, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Anyway, it is 5 a.m., so I'm going to bed. But thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.